Welcome to FedScoop TV and our special series on advancing digital government in the cloud. I'm Wyatt Cash, and joining us today is Rob Cook. Rob is Commissioner for the Technology Transformation Service at GSA. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how you and the Transformation Service, Technology Transformation Service at GSA, sort of envisions the use of the cloud for agencies, and in particular, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, as an enabler for advancing digital government.
Right. The cloud is obviously a really important part of doing this, and it, I think, also highlights the way we relate to the cloud is highlights in general how we work. So we are providing a piece of this, the platform as a service part, which provides a security layer that's specific to government because it has to comply with the government rules for doing that. So we're doing the government specific part of that in a way that every agency would have to do. And we get to do it once and then it's reused across all agencies. What this does is it's doing the piece that we need to do, which enables then agencies to work with industry to have them then provide cloud services to them. One of the things that we do, we're a small group. We are working with agencies to try to make them better buyers of technology so that most of the work is going to be done by the private sector. You know, a lot of our group comes from the private sector for a period of time to come into government and then goes back. So we're sort of from the private sector coming in and helping government be a better buyer by having access to the people who have just been with the latest technology in the government. But our goal is to, most of the best work is going to be done by industry. We're going to, for instance, the infrastructure as a service part we don't do because that is being done by different providers in industry. Right. And that's will continue to be done that way. We see ourselves as an enabler of that relationship between industry and government.
And just briefly, where do you see GSA and your group adding value on top of that?
Well, we are adding value by doing the parts that are really specific to government, which is, there's a few pieces like that, and by working with agencies to make them better in terms of interacting with industry and making them better buyers from industry. The industry groups that have worked with us have really loved working with us. We have a number of ones that say they just wish that their interactions with government were always had the level of technology expertise that we get coming in on a regular basis, and that we then work with agencies on with that enables the entire process to just work better it ends up with a better result for the citizens that it ends up with a better result for the public that the agencies serve, and it also is a better experience for industry in the process.
That's terrific. And tell me a little bit about migrating parts of your IT operation to the cloud, or as you look at helping other agencies migrate to the cloud. Part of it is technical, but part of it is change management. And so as you think about IT modernization, what steps do you envision putting in place to help with change management?
Well, one of the things in terms of changing is getting tech talent into the agencies, and particularly at the decision-making level at the top, so that the people who are making those decisions and driving that the organization are aware of and understand technology to the degree where the decisions can be informed by that, because technology is reaching into virtually everything that we do, and the big thing is changing. I think the culture is a big part of it, and the way that we go about working. So instead of the old way, which is you plan everything out super carefully in advance, things have gotten so complex it's really hard to do that. So you need to iterate as you go, and you need to have the person who's going to be using the software be an integral part of that discovery. So it's very different. It's, instead of saying we're going to spend a lot of time up front to specify everything in advance, we're going to actually talk about where the goal is, and then work with people who are the customers, the users, whether it's maybe the public, to discover the best way to do that, because they know what they need. They can tell you whether it works for them or not. The people developing it know the technology, but they may not really be able to understand what the person needs. And they may not need it, they may not know what it is until they've seen it. So it is a discovery process that you go through. I think of it as being like sailing. If you want to sail to Bermuda, say, you got to have a homing beacon, and you got to have the ability to steer. And if you don't have a homing beacon, you're going to wander around the ocean and get lost. And this having the user in the loop is what gives you that homing beacon, so you can go on. Otherwise, you can stand on shore and plan all you want, the exact direction to get there, and you're going to miss it because the winds are going to come and so on. Things change as you go, and particularly with a 5-year development cycle or something. By the time you've built it, the world's changed.
So with the capabilities this brings, how do you envision agencies are able to develop better or more responsive services to the public?
Right. Well, the key things are that you include the public in the process. So you're open about what you're doing. You actively go out and show what you're doing to people and get feedback, and then change course in response to that. So the people who are using it are telling you all along the way whether or not this is working for them. The other thing is that by bringing in our model is based on bringing in top tier talent from the private sector. So people who've been on the front lines of new emerging technology, and they'll come in for 2 years, and they can renew for another 2 years as a tour of duty. And so they are experts in the latest developments in technology. And it's very easy to become stale in those because the technology is changing so quickly. So we get people who are fresh off of having created this to come in and partner with people who understand government, and then work with people who we're all serving to create something that works really well for them. So that's the combination, is getting, with the agency in the middle, teaming up people who know the technology with the customers that they're serving. And I think that one of the things this will do is to bring customer service more as a part of public service.
Is there an example of a service that you've seen developed recently that sort of as a reflection of that model?
Yes. One that we worked in the state of California with on their child welfare, the tracking for people in the foster care program. And this was Health and Human Services worked with us closely on this, because they're partly funding that. This is something where we worked closely with the people who actually will use this service, and included them in the loop, and discovered with them what is it you really need, rather than us sort of just taking a survey and then trying to make it up ourselves. Go back and forth and say, is this what you need? And the people in HHS and in child welfare in California were great, because they were all over this. They got it instantly.
Great.
They're just running on it with their own, which is the ideal thing for us. If we can be in there, be a catalyst to show people how this works. It's not rocket science, but it's new and it's unfamiliar. People can pick up on it pretty quickly and learn to do it themselves, which is the best thing for us, is we can sort of put ourselves out of business that way.
Yes, well, great. Well, lastly, what are one or two things, if you could change to facilitate the adoption of cloud computing services to make that work faster, to support the advancement of digital government?
Okay. Well, one thing we're doing is providing the platform as a service of cloud.gov. So we're doing a lot of the work that every agency would have to do themselves or hire out themselves, and then the other is, by working with agencies, we're helping train them on how to work in a cloud-based world. It's different. There are things it's a different way of thinking about things, and we can help with that as well.
Terrific. Well, Rob Cook, thank you so much for taking some time to be with us, sharing some of your insights, and just helping us get a better picture of what GSA is doing to help with the advancement of digital government. So thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm Wyatt Cash with FedScoop TV. Thanks for watching.